Hello, Crosswatchers for Gemini. Welcome to your November Crosswatcher video. This video is for anyone dealing with a Gemini, curious about a Gemini. This is going to be done from Crosswatcher's perspective, not necessarily Gemini's first-hand perspective of what they're feeling or what they're experiencing. But we're going to use this deck here. It's a great deck. It's a discontinued deck, but it's really good for getting in those deeper layers. All right, so we're seeing asking for high vibrational energy here, what's going to be in the best and highest good of everyone involved, what's going to bring about healing, and go from that kind of energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. High vibration. All right, my dears. So we're starting off, Crosswatcher. This is the message for you. You deserve love. You are lovable, okay? This is the message for you in November, those of you dealing with a Gemini. Now, I don't feel that you guys are all necessarily dealing with a lower vibrational Gemini. Maybe some of you are. Maybe you're dealing with a Gemini who's really low vibrational, and they may say or do things that is hurtful to you. If that is the case, bounce. You don't need to sit through 20 minutes of this reading if you're with someone who is saying or doing things that is hurtful to you, or that you know they are intentionally making you feel bad about yourself. You don't need it. Cut it off, nip it in the bud. Understand this is happening for you to realize, hey, I deserve better than this. For other ones of you, you may be dealing with this Gemini. There's two other scenarios here. These are general readings, so there's two other applicable scenarios. One of them is, for some of you, you're dealing with this Gemini who's caught your eye. And maybe this is like a newer relationship. This is a newer love. And love is maybe a strong word, but love interest, like this is newer. And you kind of might be feeling just kind of on the fence about, should I go for this? You know, is this person into me? And Gemini is very much, I always call Gemini my little butterflies, because Gemini is really, they're very, they become very stimulated. And they get lost in thoughts and ideas and things that are new and things that are exciting. So it's very easy for a Gemini to start something and then become interested with something else, or just kind of want to go around and explore or be inquisitive. And so you might feel, wow, this Gemini shows interest in me, but then they seem to like be busy with other stuff. And so you might be like, well, I don't know if they're into me or not. And this card is reassuring that you are lovable. And this could be a life lesson for you to, in this case, I don't know if I want to say be the hunter, but it might be an experience for you to kind of set your sights and go for it. Like maybe you're gonna pull your own Cupid's arrow here, right? Like you're gonna be your own little Cupid, and you're gonna set your mark on this person, and you're gonna go for it because you finally have confidence and you believe in yourself, and you're like, okay, well let me take initiative here. Let me show this person, let this person know, hey, like I'm into you. So for some of you, it's a life lesson in that way, where you're taking the step, or you're gonna, I don't know if I want to say pursue the person, but you're setting your mark, you're setting your aim, and you're going for it. And it's tied into your life lesson of confidence and believing in yourself, right? There's such a stigma sometimes that, oh, well, if you make... This is more so, I think, for women. There's such a stigma that if a woman expresses interest, or if a woman shows that she's interested, then she seems desperate and all this stuff. I'm not telling you all to... Or even with, like, guys. Guys sometimes are very... shy about approaching somebody. And then if you're in a relationship where you're like you're a woman who's into women, or you're in a man who's into men, then if that doesn't apply at all, because somebody's got to make the move, right? You can't just say the man has to or the woman has to. But there's like this fear of like, if I make the move, or if I'm the one who takes the step, then I'm gonna seem desperate, or I'm gonna seem thirsty, or whatever. But this person doesn't seem desperate. This person seems very strong. They're like, that looks good, and I'm going for it. So there's like some life lesson in confidence for some of you. For other ones of you, you're dealing with a Gemini, you guys have been dating or you're in a relationship, and this Gemini might be distracted with other things. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're distracted in other relationships or they're being unfaithful, but they, like, mentally, they might have other things kind of occupying their thoughts, or distracting them in some way, or they may have other interests or focus that is keeping them busy, and you might be feeling a little bit neglected. And so Spirit is saying, if that's the case, like, if this person, look, if they're not toxic, if they're not abusive, and if you've talked to them and they're like, hey, everything is fine, we're good, I'm into you, don't even worry about it, then this card is saying, Crosswatcher, that this relationship is going to benefit if you are able to find the ways in which you're lovable. Like, don't look at this relationship to make you feel good about you, because if you do, this card is saying it might cause issues. That this could be a life lesson for you in this relationship, to realize that you on your own, you're lovable, with or without this person, with or without this relationship. And so you might be setting your sights on things that are going to be making you feel good about yourself. The thing that I love about this card is just the way she looks and the way she's handling that bow and arrow here. It's like she's proud, she's confident, she's doing something, like she feels badass, you know? So I think, Crosswatcher, the message for you, those of you dealing with a Gemini, find ways to feel badass. Find ways to feel like you have this confidence, right? And put it on things that don't have to do with, like, how you look, right? Or, how many likes you got on social media, or how many shares or retweets you got, or, how much weight you lost, or how much muscle you gained, or, I don't know, like, how thick you are, or whatever it is, whatever your idea of beauty is. Try to find ways to feel good about you that don't have to do with that. Or, like, if you are working out, set your goals on, things that you did. Oh, were you stronger this time around? Were you able to go longer? Were you able to accomplish something that you couldn't accomplish before? Like, set your goals on things that just make you feel good about what you can do. Not about how you look, or not about what attention you got from someone else. Because otherwise, that's going to leave you feeling very depleted, and it's going to make you feel very powerless, right? But when you're in this power, that's sexy. Like, that's sexy. That's definitely going to get Gemini's attention. Like, that's really sexy, right? Not just Gemini's attention, others' attention too. So, Crosswatcher, I think the theme for you is there might be some things in this relationship that are causing you or triggering you to feel unlovable or undesirable. And Spirit is saying, find ways to feel badass that don't have to do with looks or appearance or physical stuff. Okay? Your next card here is you have religious factors, guys. This card's coming up for a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you, because it's come up so many times now, I shuffled, you all saw me shuffle. But this and there's one other card, the attraction card, that's coming up for a lot of the different signs. So this tells me there's something in the collective energy right now, right? Especially this reading is for November, and I'm recording this right before the new moon in Scorpio at the end of October, and that new moon going into the first full moon of November, not the one, you know what I mean, the full moon of November in Taurus. It is going to be waking a lot of people up about their insecurities, their desires, their needs, ways in which they need to change. I think this is why the religious factors card keeps coming up. It's not always just about religion. For some of you, yes, this is like literally religion. Maybe somebody's wanting the other one to convert, or maybe they just are like, maybe kids are coming into the picture and they're wanting to raise kids in a certain religion. For some of you, it could actually be religion, but for the majority of you, this is the changes that people are going through. So especially if you've been with a Gemini for a long time, you might see changes in this person. or you guys might be ascending or evolving spiritually at different speeds, and that might be causing some division between the two of you. So if that's the case, and if you don't feel ready to give up on this person, or if you don't feel ready to walk away, this card is saying the only way this relationship can work is if you're focusing on the similarities, because there's a lot of differences here, right? You're going to have to find the common ground, right? Like even with religions, like, you know, people say, oh, well, this is true, that's true. But all religions, if you go to the basic heart and soul of it, what are they about? Being a loving person, being a good person. You know, most religions will teach you don't steal, don't lie. Don't go and do things that are harmful to others. Most religions will teach you that, right? It doesn't matter what, like, it's just all across the board. So you're going to have to focus on the similarities, on the core beliefs. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind or keep into consideration this person and you, like, you guys might not see eye to eye. And no matter how much you try to make them see it your way, or they might try to see it, they may make you see it their way, there is a division here, okay? You guys just may not be on the same page. So it's important to find where the common ground is if this is a relationship that's going to work. For some of you cross watchers, you're feeling that this relationship is just like sooner or later it's going to end. If you've been having that feeling, understand and know this card is saying it doesn't have to be in a disastrous way. It doesn't have to be toxic. It doesn't have to be explosive. You just might need to understand that, you know, this person's not going to make the changes that you want them to make. Not because they don't love you or not because they don't care about you, but because they're on a different path. And if you can accept that about the person, you can either continue in the relationship and make it work, or you can walk away and leave the relationship, but at least leave without feeling bitterness, without feeling resentment, without judging that person, without saying, you know what, this is your fault, or, oh, you're low vibration. I know sometimes I use that term and I say some of you are dealing with a low vibrational person, but I don't say it in a judgmental way, right? Because that's where that person is. And I'm not saying it in a way to mean to be an insult. I'm just putting it in a category because sometimes I have to, right? But if you can look at it with just understanding this is where that person is, you're going to be able to heal much faster. You're going to be able to get that closure much faster and then ascend to a higher partner more quickly. This is a general reading. Not all of you are headed for a breakup, okay? But the energy is going to apply in different ways, so I have to cover the different factors the different ways. But for those of you where it's feeling a little bit rocky or it's feeling a little up and down, Spirit is saying you need to keep in mind this person doesn't see the world the way that you see it. And you might have to try to kind of come out of your way of thinking or your comfort zone and try to see it through their eyes if this relationship has any chance of working. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them, but there could be, like, you might need to understand this so that you can understand how this person is making their decisions and how they're living their life, and vice versa. Next, my dears, we have here forgiving and learning. Okay? So again, I think this is a crossroads with your Gemini. You're going to have to decide, should I stay or should I go? But either way, even if you go, you have to go with forgiveness. If you want any chance of finding happiness and love and, like, having the right person come in for you, you have to leave with the spirit of forgiveness, okay? If you leave with harboring the resentments and harboring anger or judging the person for the mistakes that they made, it's going to take longer for you to find the person. It doesn't mean that you have to say, oh, okay, well, you know what? You did all these horrible things and that's okay. That's not what forgiveness means. It means being able to be in the energy of saying, you know what? That's their issue. That's their mess. That's like the level that they're on. I'm not going to internalize that. You know, I'm not going to let that experience be something that I'm going to take personally, and I'm not going to take that experience in a way that's going to make me feel like I'm not lovable, because I know I'm lovable. I know that, you know, what I bring to the table. I know that I'm badass. Unfortunately, maybe this person didn't see it, or this person didn't know how to take care of it. But you know what? I can release that, and I can be in the energy of realizing that it doesn't make me any less than. Okay? So that's the energy you need to come into. Right? Some of you are coming into a reconciliation, or you're deciding to stay together. And Spirit is saying, look, if you're doing that, then you need to forgive for real. Don't save it in the mental file. Don't bring it back in the next argument and say, oh yeah, well remember, you know, back in October, back in September, back in 2002. Like, you can't go back into the arsenal and bring up the past and throw it in their face. So this is it, guys. I feel the energy here is really, really crossroads. This is make it or break it with those of you dealing with a Gemini in November. Like, this is the turning point. And either you're going to do this, or you all are going to go separate ways. And if you're going to do it, if you're going to decide that you're going to make this work or stay together, then you need to go in with this forgiveness. And maybe it's difficult. Maybe you're going to need help to forgive. Maybe it might be a good idea to go see like a religious mentor, or like somebody in your church or temple that can give you guidance, or a therapist, or someone. Like, maybe you might need help, or a life coach, or a relationship coach, or relationship therapist, or something. But you might need help working through being able to release. And understand that that also is a gift. That even though the situation might not feel good, it's a gift, because it's giving you a chance to get all that gunk out, like all the buried stuff out, right? It's like that pressure cooker. It's helping you to release that pressure over time without having to explode. And so I just feel like this is about forgiving and learning and releasing, healing the past, experiencing more love in the present moment. Like, this is right here, it's telling you. And I do feel like, if you look at the card, I feel both of you have things that you feel bad about, or that you regret. I feel for some of you, you're dealing with a Gemini where maybe they didn't do anything wrong to you. Like, especially if this is a newer relationship and you just met this person and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't imagine what this could be, because like, we're just barely in the beginning of the journey. I feel this person's really into you, Crosswatcher, and they're wanting to have a future with you. So they may open up and they may begin telling you about their past, like things that they've been through, things that maybe they don't feel proud about. You know, they may have done things that they don't feel good about, and they may have a bit of a history, and you might have to decide, okay, can I accept that? Can I accept this person? You know, and can I see them as someone who's changing, or turning over a new leaf? That's also a common theme in some of these Crosswatcher videos for November. Again, collective energy. I think a lot of people are awakening right now. And I think a lot of the people that are awakening, thank goodness, they're finding one another. And so, and a part of that is learning to be accepting of one another, and be able not to judge people on their past. You may have things, Crosswatcher, in your own past, and you may have to think and say, okay, you know what? All right, maybe I haven't done X, Y, and Z like Gemini, but I have done A, B, and C, and I do feel bad about that. So both of you may be coming into some level of like just trying to be a better person, and to come into this relationship and do things better than they've been done in the past. Okay? Your next card here is new love. New love. So some of you are, like I said, you're walking away, or you're giving this a whole fresh new start. That's it. That's the theme here. I do feel, though, that with this card here, this is about like learning to be respected, or learning to be pursued in a higher vibrational kind of way. Okay, like, see how he's just kind of in a way putting her up on a pedestal, right? And holding up this rose, and she seems to be very you know, intrigued by this knight, by this person, like he's all kind of dressed up here. So it's kind of like looking at the simple things, looking at the character of the person. What qualities are they bringing to the table? How are they expressing themselves? You know, coming out of being impressed by flashiness or flashy things. So I think a lot of you, and this came up for one of the other signs, I can't remember who, but it may have been Cancer, but it's definitely this. Maybe some of you are Cancer dealing with a Gemini, but it's definitely an energy here where like you're learning to reevaluate what's important in a relationship. You may have been looking at the wrong things in the past, or your priorities may have been different, or their priorities may have been different, and together you guys are learning really what matters in the relationship. You're learning to I don't know if I want to say judge, but you're learning to assess or grade the relationship on what, or score the relationship on a different kind of check sheet or a checklist. You're going about really realizing what matters in a relationship. So I think you guys are going through this waking up together, or you're helping each other to wake up. Okay, more so than ascending, I feel this is early stages of waking up for a lot of you that are watching this reading, or you're dealing with a Gemini who's in the early stages of waking up. Next, we have heart-to-heart conversation. Honestly, discuss your feelings with each other. Okay, so you know, this is not something that's going to be you know, solved by sugarcoating. Okay, and someone in this relationship, you know, I'm doing this from a Crosswatcher's view. So Crosswatcher, you may feel like Gemini is being proud, or shutting you out, or they don't want to hear what you want to say, or they're not paying attention. And Gemini just kind of might feel like you're being harsh with them, or they might know that there's truth in what you're saying, and they might feel bad about it, and they might not know how to react, so they might not say anything, right? And you're just like, say something, you know, like, you know, you're looking for them to react in some way. But oftentimes, Crosswatcher, in the past, when this card has come up, it's coming with the message that just speak your truth calmly. You know, speak it in a way where you're not accusing them, you're not insulting them, because then they're not going to stick around to hear it. Just speak it in a way where you're speaking it calmly, and speak it in a way that you're being true. Like you're not editing yourself. You're saying it in a respectful way, but you're not holding back either. Even if you feel like Gemini isn't listening to you, even if you feel like Gemini doesn't care about what you're saying, because I have found that this card says that the person actually is listening. They feel uncomfortable about the situation. They might be feeling a little bit cornered. They might be feeling a little bit judged. But if you can say it in a calm way, even if you don't get the reaction that you want right then and there, give them some time, because what you said is going to stay in their head. And they'll have a chance to think about it. And they'll have a chance to say, oh, okay, here's maybe where I can understand why Crosswatcher feels that way. You know, maybe it's a misunderstanding, and they're going to come back and they're going to try to explain it to you or clarify it to you. Or maybe it's something that they say, oh, you know what? Okay, I agree. That's maybe something I need to work on. And then they can come back and say, okay, you know what? Like, I'm going to work on that. But this card says is like, say what you need to say and release your expectation of how this person is going to respond or how this person is going to react. Simply speak your truth for the sake of speaking your truth. And chances are that if you do it in a respectful enough way, this person is going to have a chance to think about it, and they're going to have a chance to like come back in a high vibrational way and be like, okay, all right, you know, I can see why you thought that, or let me work on this, or you know what, I'm really sorry that it came off that way, but this is really what was going on. Whatever the case is, like, you'll be able to clear it up. Just Crosswatcher, it's important for you not to look at Gemini in a way where you're looking for them to validate how lovable you are or how worthy you are. Or it's important for you not to look at Gemini like you have to say it this way, or you have to react this way, or when I tell you this, this is how you need to respond, because it's not going to happen in that way. And again, I feel this is a connection in a relationship for a lot of you where you're learning a whole new way to date or a whole new way to be in a relationship because you guys are ascending or coming up together. Okay, I kind of feel like there's a spiritual partnership here, and that it's going to require patience and time and, doing your own work on your own end, especially with a Gemini. Geminis are not people who, are going to be like obsessed with you like maybe a Scorpio might be. And I can say that because I'm a Scorpio. Okay, I can say that Scorpios can become very like obsessive, or if they're really into someone, they can be like just like laser beam focused on a person. And Gemini is gonna, like, they might be really into you. They might really love you. They might really care about you. But they're also very interested in life, and they're interested in friends, and they're interested in projects and creativity and things like that. So, they might be trying to love you. And if you're expecting for love to look a certain way or be a certain way or have a certain intensity, you might not realize that they're loving you. So I think this is like an opportunity for you to learn like different love languages or different ways in which people express love. And so I do feel that this is going to be a chance for you, Crosswatcher, to learn a lot about yourself and the things that make you awesome and badass and amazing. And it's a chance for Gemini to see ways in which, like, they're going to make changes to make this work or to hold on to you. Okay? It's a learn experience, definitely an opportunity of growth for both of you. But again, I just feel this is a matter of waking up. You guys are waking each other up, and you're just going to have to be patient and gentle in the process. Think about it like in literally waking somebody up. Like, you don't want to come into the room, come on, wake up, and throw the lights on and like blind them with the light. And you don't want to wake somebody up in a way where it's going to be abrasive and aggressive and put them in a bad mood all day. You want to use some consideration, right? And you want to be a little bit patient. You don't want to wake somebody up in a rude way. So think of it in that way. Like approach this with gentleness. Okay, and I think you're going to have a lot more happier results in that way. These are general readings, so you might want to watch the love reading for your sign for November when it's up in the next couple of days. As soon as it is up, I will link the playlist in the description. But November will be up soon, and you may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do. If you click on the Calendly link in the description of this video, it will take you to the scheduling page, all of the different readings I offer, the types of readings, the prices, the scheduling. It's all there. It's all available. I know I'm booked until like the first week in November, and some of you might say, well, whatever, I'll try later. Go ahead and schedule, because I am going to take time off in the end of November, and sometimes there's these little bursts and pockets of booking, and then like it gets really full. And then so if that ends up happening and you want a reading, I'm not doing emergency readings, so you might not be able to get in until December. So if you're on the fence about it, this might be a good time to just kind of check in and schedule a reading if you would like, if you're feeling moved to do that. But I thank you all for watching, sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing, and I am wishing you a fabulous November, my dears.